Hi and welcome to the Beer Temple. I am Chris Quinn down in the lower depths of the store today while business kind of goes on up above. But I've mentioned it several times now, and it is very nice that I can take my time a little bit more rather than rushing to open the store, although I know you guys really seem to enjoy that. I appreciate you being able to laugh at my misfortune, and thank you for that. You know, really nice of you. Anyway, I have got two beers. They may not be quite clear to you what they are, but these are two beers that were dropped off to me by the head brewer at Penrose Brewing, Tom Quarter. Penrose out of Geneva, Illinois. Been around for, let's say, I think a year and a half or so, and focusing on Belgian-inspired ales, but you know, with an American twist to it, and also I've started getting into some mixed fermentation stuff and some wild beer, you know, sour beer, bacteria, acid beers that they've been doing as like a number series. I think they started in terms of bottling with 5, so on 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a bottle of the yet to be released 10. So it's kind of a series they're doing. Like, I guess I'm not sure what the numbers equate to other than the releases, but they change them every time. So 5 and 6 are not just different batches. They actually like make changes to the actual beer. In the case of 5 and 6, I believe one was just like a wild ale, and one was that same base beer, but pretty heavily dry hopped as well. And so they're excited about 10. From what I hear, 15 is going to be the big one. Pen 15. They are massively excited about, but until that one comes, we'll just have to deal with Pen 10. And the second is their South Belgian Brux Golden Ale Pale Ale, beer that features, I believe, almost entirely the yeast strain Brettanomyces bruxellensis. There are, you know, several different types of Brett Brux, and you know, there's a couple different types of Brett they're used. 3 main types: Brett Brux, Brett Lambicus, and Brett C, or Clauseni. And often what's considered to be, you know, the classic Brettanomyces character comes from Brett Brux. It often has a lot of earthiness, a lot of like barnyard flavors. I get often like a dusty hay type thing. When it gets really going, that's when you start getting, you know, pencil eraser and horse blanket and mousy and things like that. So I'm certainly excited to try that one. In fact, I think I may try that guy first. So let's give it a try. This is the Penrose. It just says Brux, but I believe it's the South Belgian Brux. They saw me kind of wince there. May need a corkscrew. They're looking at me now saying, wow, you wimp. I just take that out like it's nothing. Here's what we'll do. If you don't have a corkscrew, what you do is you push the cork like this away from you, rotate it 180 degrees. It's probably very loud with the mic, and then push it back. So you're just rocking it back and forth, and you'll just push it slowly out. Tip, and now maybe we can get it going. There we go. Really in there. All right. There we are. All right. Okay. Push this over here so you can see it a little better, perhaps. So it definitely has some color to it, kind of like a caramel color, golden. You know, a little bit of haze to it, and you know, not super carbonated. It looks fairly light in carbonation as well. My first thought was, wow, that's a very mild nose. And then this, even just in the second kind of dip in, I started getting 3 or 4 different distinct aromas. I got, oh, I'm like, oh, okay, so there's some fruit here, some like stone fruit, red fruit, cherries, stuff like that. Then I started getting, you know, a little bit of like that kind of hay quality, and finally I was getting almost like you know, like manure, like really rich, like soil as well. Yeah, kind of like a musty, like not musty, like a dusty a floor of a barn. I know that sounds ridiculous, but you know, you're kind of this outdoor dusty thing with a little bit of almost like a like an aged white wine. You know how you get white wines, like bigger white wines, and they start to take on that like honeyed oxidation thing. That has a little bit of that. Huh, and a little bit of like a peppery, almost Christmas spice as well, just a hint. Pretty full-bodied. I expected it to be a little bit lighter. Really kind of round mouthfeel. It's got some sweetness to it. Now, I could have been given this beer before it was ready. Brett is notorious or famous, depending on how you look at it, for taking a very long time to do its fermentation and conditioning, where a brewer's yeast can get most of the work done in just a couple days, 3 days, 4 days. The Brett beer could easily take 3-4 months, could take a year, long time. So maybe this is has a little ways to go, or maybe they just added a bunch of proteins, unfermentables to get it going, to keep the body even when there was no sugars left. A nice kind of malt biscuity base to it as well, and some tartness. There's definitely some acidity here as well. So it's interesting, you've got that kind of caramel toast going on with some like zippy acidity as well on top of this like fruity, dusty thing. It's nice. I think it would go really well with some kind of more mild washed rind cheeses, or maybe like a triple cream or something like that. Yeah, really nice, really solid beer. You know, it's just a solid Brett Brooks beer. I personally would like to see it a little lighter bodied, maybe a little more attenuated, and a little more effervescent as well. The carbonation, especially with these Brett beers, really helps to kind of like scrub that off your tongue, and it's nice, but I want to kind of coat your palate with that bready flavor, Bretty flavor. I don't know, it's just not something I'm used to. So anyway, now for the Penrose Wild 10. This one comes out a little easier. Oh, bit of a pop. And again, I really don't know what the treatment of this one was. You can already tell it's darker. It's also clearer. Wow, beautifully clear. This to me looks like almost like the color of like a Scottish ale, or even like a lighter Doppelbock. Really beautiful beer. Nice kind of tan head to it. That you can tell already it's a little bit more carbonated. Tiny, tiny, fine little bubbles here. Just a pretty, pretty looking beer. Okay, so definitely some oak here. I wasn't necessarily getting any oak on this one. Oak and almost like fennel. I think I was getting dill in one of their dry hop beers. Now I'm getting like this like fennel note as well. Almost like a red wine and like fennel thing. In a way, like kind of a very like Belgian-y feel to it. And again, an interesting, almost like graham cracker undertone to it as well. It reminded me almost a little bit of the spiciness in this one. But the some of these like red wine and oak notes are just tweaking it a little bit, so it's not quite cookie spices. It's just this really nice like fennel-y, spicy note. On top of some really kind of, I was saying caramel and toast, but there are some like a little bit more savory, fruity notes as well. Like a fruit kind of compote thing. Oh wow, this is great. Oh man, this just keeps going and going and going. Wow. Okay, so first thing I noticed, this is what I'm looking for, lighter, effervescent in terms of mouthfeel. And then I got this real nice little zing of acidity, followed by a really nice Brett character and some fruit notes, and finally that like graham cracker crust thing kind of came through at the end with a little bit of that like oaky note as well, some vanilla. Just really, really well put together, how all these flavors just kind of come in waves. None of them hit you over the head. None of them are out of balance with everything else there. They're harmonizing really well. And that's really all from just one sip. Yeah, it's nice. So it's lighter bodied, but it's not totally like thin. There's a little body there. And as long as you're swishing it around, you know, there might be a tiny bit of that caramel sweetness as well, just a hint. And that kind of keeps the acidity at bay. And as soon as you swallow, you get this like refreshing kind of hit of acid. And then you know, that kind of kicks your salivatory, whatever. I'm not going to say the word because I've already butchered it twice. What makes you salivate? Those things kind of kick in, and then you just start to salivate, and your mouth starts watering. And then as it's watering, you're kind of getting these, you know, secondary, tertiary flavors as well. Both from, you know, from the grain is definitely at play here, the barrel that it was aged in, and then the yeast that was used. I don't know if this was spiced or anything, but really kind of cool beer. Look out for this one, because yeah, W10. I don't know, I think it's going to give Pen 15 a run for its money, because this one is really good, just super long, and just a delicious, delicious beer. Well done, guys. I mean, this is the best wild beer I've had from Penrose, my favorite anyway. Just from the moment you pour it, it looks attractive, it smells attractive, and the taste really exceeds even, you know, the look and the smell of it, which is really what matters most. You want it to really be enjoyable and something that you can just kind of sip on and enjoy, or really kind of think about and kind of enjoy on that level as well. Really a fun beer. Glad I decided to put this one on tape. So cheers to the guys at Penrose. Tom, thank you for dropping these beers off. That's very generous of you. And guys, thank you for watching as always. If you have any questions or comments, please just send them to info@craftbeertemple.com, or just leave them on the website. Underneath this video, you can just log in and post a comment. I think you have to sign up just for the first time, but then after that you can just post pretty easily. Also, I've seen some really cool reviews on iTunes lately, guys. Thank you so much. I was, not to get too weepy on you, but I was feeling kind of bummed out about some business stuff the other day, and went onto iTunes, and I haven't looked at the reviews in a little while, and it really just, you know, it was a motivation for me. So guys, thank you so much. You know, not everything is great in craft beer all the time, but it's so worth it when I hear that, you know, how just, I appreciate very much how much you guys get out of this show. So thank you very, very much. Until next time, and on that note, I've got some great local wild beer to drink, and hopefully you do too. Cheers.